So you have a look and a watch of Nicola Willis. She honestly, it's like you've just said something about her dead grandma. She is so offended.
Economic vandalism of the highest order. The message this sends to the world is
She's
you can't
pissed,
rely
man.
on New Zealand. When I travel internationally, one of the things that people say to me is, we like you, New Zealand, because you've got stable institutions, you've got rule of law, we can rely on you. What the Greens are doing is ripping up that reputation that has taken decades and successive governments to build. They're saying, invest in New Zealand.
They're ripping that up, Chewie, by wanting to protect our environment. How dare you, Greens, stamp on that stuff that's been 100% pure for the last 20 years by you wanting to look after the environment and signal it. How dare you?
Massive sovereign risk. We could pull the carpet out from under you at any time.
Yep.
And it will have a chilling effect.
Yep.
And my message to anyone who's wanting to invest in Kiwi jobs, Kiwi businesses, bringing their capital in from around the world is we will make sure the Greens don't get to form a government so this remains a stable, good country to invest in, because that sort of policy has no place in good government, and I am appalled that Chris Hipkins has not taken the...
Hang on. That sort of policy, reversing the previous government legislation. Are you sure, Nicola, you want to put out there as a yardstick for bad government that you shouldn't stop previous government's legislation or policy? Because if we start to tot up what you guys have done this term, stopping policy and legislation put in by the last lot, we'd get to some pretty high numbers pretty quickly. So when you say this is not the kind of thing that should happen, this is the kind of thing you guys have been, in fact, it's been worse. This is the kind of thing you guys have been doing without telling anybody you were going to do it this whole fucking term.
Government, so this remains a stable, good country to invest in, because that sort of policy has no place in good government, and I am appalled that Chris Hipkins has not taken the very clear opportunity to rule it out completely, because there's only one party the Greens can ever govern with, and that's the Labour Party. So they need to be economically responsible and say no to such a terrible, terrible stance.
Do you know how many jobs would be lost if those...
I think that's all we need. You can see she is offended. She is ropeable. Let me tell you something else I worked out today. I was flicking around looking for some more footage for this story, and I came across a story from a while ago. It was in it was embedded in one of the One News stories, where the government or DOC, whoever it was, wouldn't allow a mining company to clear a bit of land because there was 1,000 geckos there. Mm-hmm. And they were like 250 jobs and da-da-da-da. And I just had this thought, and I thought the same about this. In 500 years from now, will the person in 500 years from now be more worried about extracting that coal or gold, or whatever, it was a gold mine actually, that gold, if it costs the lives of these native indigenous animals? Or in 500 years from now, will they be so excited that we didn't let this mining company wipe out 1,000 of our native lizards, potentially putting the lizards in it could be completely gone, but certainly in a much more vulnerable space. In 500 years from now, I mean, Chewie, let's flick that around the other way. 500 years ago, are we happy that the fucking well, that wasn't even 500 years, it was 200 years, 150 years, that they brought fucking hedgehogs with them? Or would we rather that they didn't, and we would have safer, easier access to our native birds? It's like in 500 years from now, in 100 years from now, those geckos are going to have far more value to this country than the gold they would have extracted and then filled the hole in. And I think it's the same. It's like the idea of what damage this could do, the mining, the drilling, the looking for minerals, the damage it can do long term versus, and I actually thought today, Chewie, the word you used, the sugar hit that would give right now.
Yeah.
And I just don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it.
There's so many layers to where I sit on this. It's once you dig up a landscape like the Denniston Plateau as an example, or the Macrae gold mine here in Otago, you can't remediate the land back to what it is. Like, you've destroyed an environment, you've done a big hole in the ground. There's no take back on that. You can try and minimize it, but no one's flying around the world to see an open pit coal mine in the West
Yeah.
Coast, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is a time where our government is crowing about, oh, the tourism's coming back. We've paid $6 million to have Michelin star thing. That's going to be great for everyone. Yay! They don't come for that. Now, I can appreciate that there is a place for mining. And if there is going to be a place for mining, one of the things that should be given such heavy weighting is, if we do this here, is something gone forever? So we need to decide, is this an environment that is found almost nowhere else on the planet? There's something that lives here that we can't get back if we fuck this up. Do we trust this international mining company to tell us the truth? And if we can't trust them, what measures are we putting in place to protect the taxpayers of New Zealand? Now, every time Shane Jones talks about it, I get a man that is there in a wide tie and white shoes doing Uncle Shane Jones's big discount mineral blowout. Everything must go cheap, cheap, cheap. The royalties are next to nothing. The gold mine here in Otago made something like $600 million and paid, I think, $10 million in royalties.
Yeah. What's the point?
How much did that help the country?
Yeah.
It helped the company a lot. Right, it's good that those miners have good paying jobs, but someone's making a lot of bank. When you look at other countries managing their mineral resources, and I'm going to use Norway as an example, they're getting 80% royalties out of some of their stuff because they're sitting on the resources, and the company wants the resources. The resources aren't going to move. We are doing the same thing that Australia does, which is going, as long as our citizens have good paying jobs, that's all we care about.